Disney reboots are something of a hit or miss. Or mostly just misses, with one series being way better than it has any right to be. I mean, Cinderella and Jungle Book were okay, but Aladdin and Lion King were both so awful, I'm ashamed to admit that I've seen both of them in their entirety. More than once. So where does Mulan 2020 fit in? Well, spoiler alert, it fucking sucks. It's the most uninspired piece of shit I have ever seen. And yeah, I'm probably exaggerating, but this is YouTube. I've had friends say, but you're Asian, you should be excited. But no, I'm not. Because Disney didn't make this movie for me, i.e. Asian Americans. They made this for China, and the billions and the billions of dollars that they can promise. They'd rather make a movie for the Chinese audience than for their own American citizens. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just start in the beginning.
There have been many tales of the great warrior Mulan. But ancestors, this one is mine. Here she is, a young shoot, all green, unaware of the blade. If you had such a daughter, her chi, the boundless energy of life itself, speaking through her every motion, could you tell her that only a son could wield chi? That a daughter would risk shame, dishonor, exile? Ancestors, I could not.
So right away we have a bunch of issues. Number 1, the narration. Why? There's no need for it. 2, in the original, it opened up with the Hun attacking the wall, infiltrating China. It was dark, it was moody, it was action-packed. It wasn't your average Disney movie opening at the time, and it set the tone. The remake's opening? It just seemed like the director saw an Ang Lee movie once and was like, yep, gotcha. I understand China now. Also, Chi? They never mentioned Chi in the original movie, and I get they're trying to be more faithful to the original story, but in the Ballad of Mulan, there's no mention of using Chi. I thought you were trying to be more realistic. What's realistic about the Force? So after that pointless opening scene introducing Mulan using her chi, we cut to a Huckawald village where we're introduced to Mulan using her chi.
This way. That's the last one. Gently. Mulan, forget the chickens. It will come back.
Holy mother of God, there are so many cuts. Let's count, shall we?
No!
Yeah.
This way.
Yeah.
That's the last one.
Yeah.
Gently.
Yeah.
Mulan,
Yeah.
forget the chickens.
Yeah.
It will
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
Tell your sisters not the cause of this.
Yeah.
Take control of yourself.
Mulan, listen very carefully.
That's over 70 cuts for a 1:15 chase scene. Now let's look at Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Also a 1:15 chase scene, but has less than 40 cuts.
Yeah, yeah. 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 Yeah.
下来，
Yeah. Yeah.
借给我。
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
If you look at the cuts, you'll see that they seamlessly flow from one scene to the next. They use longer cuts to showcase the actors' performances, and every cut feels intentional, as if they thought of the editing while they were choreographing the scene. While in Mulan, I feel like I'm watching the editor just frantically put together a sequence, because the director clearly had no idea how to shoot an action scene. Mulan gets the chicken back using her chi, and no one likes that, apparently. She, I'm assuming, gets a light beating, as this is a traditional Asian household, after all. Her dad, or I'm sorry, her baba, tells her that she can't use her chi, because she's a girl, and if people see her using it, they'll think she's a witch.
And it is time for you to hide your gift away, too. To silence its voice. I say this to protect you. That is my job. Your job is to bring honor to the family. Do you think you can do that?
Alright, so we cut to where the movie probably should have started, and why did they turn the bird into a person? I get it, because in the climax, there's going to be a fight between the two girls, where they fight, because, you know, girls get it done.
Doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. Stand a little taller.
Oh yeah, so apparently they decided to change the name of the bad guys from the Hun to the Rorans, which is fine, since that's what they were referred to in the original Ballad of Mulan. But, oh my god, the fucking arrow catch. Like, again, it's supposed to be, like, badass and stuff, but it's just funny. It's just funny. It's the highlight of the action scene, and it's, like, the first 10 seconds. Okay, let's talk about the action scene, because it is a bore. Other than the Crouching Tiger-inspired shots, which are completely contrived, it's messy, it's boring. Again, there's too many cuts. And the way the camera moves is supposed to make it visually interesting, but it just makes me visually nauseous. I mean, at least they casted Shan Yu well. Oh, what? He's not Shan Yu? Oh, no, he's Bori Khan. Huh. More like Boring Khan, am I right, guys? Guys? I will say this, the exterior shots, the costumes, look good. The interior shots, however, do not. Also, that's Jet Li.
Here's my decree. We'll build a mighty army. Every family will supply one man. We'll protect our beloved people and crush these murderers. Deploy the Imperial Army. The dynasty will not be threatened.
After telling Jet Li about the Rorans, the soldier reveals himself to be no other than the Bird Lady. She goes back to boring, and they have this really stupid fucking scene that's only there to set up Bird Lady's betrayal in the third act. Because you know that's coming. Why? Because she's a girl. And
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller.
The Emperor will be mine to kill. You have proved useful, witch.
Not witch. Warrior. I could tear you to pieces before you blink.
But you won't. Remember what you want. A place where your powers will not be vilified. A place where you are accepted for who you are. You won't get what you want without me.
harder. Choke me harder. We cut to an older Mulan who comes back from riding. She tells a story about seeing two rabbits running side by side, one male, one female, and she notes how you can't really tell the difference when they're running. That is a reference to the end of the Ballad of Mulan, which is also a metaphor for the story. Except it doesn't really make sense here because it doesn't make... okay, I'll get into that later.
Maybe they'll still be there. We have excellent news. The matchmaker has found you an auspicious match.
Yes, Mulan. It is decided. Come and sit down.
So she gets ready to meet the matchmaker, with a rendition of You'll Bring Honor to Us All playing in the background. Okay, I don't hate this. It's a good nod to the original. And hopefully they'll do the same for Reflections, one of the best Disney songs ever. We cut to the tea pouring ceremony part, just like in the original, but instead of the lucky cricket causing her to ruin her chances, it's a spider. Why? Because her sister is afraid of spiders?
She must be.
And crickets were a symbol of good luck in China, so why change it?
She must be. Is something wrong? Dishonor to the Hua family. They have failed to raise a good daughter.
And that was awful. Just to remind ourselves real quick, let's see how the original ended, shall we?
You are a disgrace! You may look like a bride, but you will never bring your family honor!
Why change the line? It has less to do with the theme of the story now. Seems almost intentional, like they're purposely trying to make a watered-down version of the original. You like the light version? Now try the real one. Except you had to pay $30 fucking for the shittier version. Ugh, okay. Let's move on. So literally after that scene, a general arrives and begins to call out all the names of the family that must join and fight the ever-loving and long-lasting emperor. Why did I write such a run-on sentence? Holy shit. Zhao walks up, and instead of just grabbing the scroll like everybody else, he for some reason decides to introduce himself. And then continue to embarrass himself.
I am Hua Zhou.
No, you will only humiliate him further.
Which brings me to my next issue. Zhao is just sad. Again, in the original, Zhao was patient, stern, but you could tell he had a good heart and was kind of a badass. Zhao in the movie is just an angry Asian dad. I mean, it's realistic, but it's just not who Zhao is. And I get that writers and actors will have their own interpretations, but when you change the fundamental characteristics of a character, just make a new one. Oh wait, but you did. Let's talk about the new not love interest real quick.
Arjun, we started off on the wrong foot. Can we be friends?
I'm not your friend.
Very well. But you are my equal. We fight together against the same enemy. I will do all I can to protect the others.
I mean, he's basically Li Shang from the original, but they decided that having a love interest in a position of power might be a little insensitive given the, recent Me Too movement. Which is totally fine. But why change his name? Just don't make him a general. The character is pretty much the same other than that, and I thought originally it was to hide the implied gay attraction, but it's still pretty fucking gay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
So why change the name? Also, why did they change Mulan's name from Ping to June? Like, I actually can't find an answer for that question. So like the original, Mulan takes her dad's sword and armor and runs away to join the Imperial Army. But unlike the original, Zhao has to be told exactly what's happened through a letter to like a senile old man, versus him knowing pretty much what has happened and then fighting validating evidence. Again, making Zhao just seem pathetic in the remake. And didn't they imply that he has chi? Why can't he use chi to make himself walk better? Right, because the one thing that pushes the plot forward has zero fucking rules. They try to explain it with this scene, but all it really does is just raise more questions. Can anybody wield chi? How come the other 3 soldiers don't use it? Why can the Rorans use chi? What does it mean to be true to yourself? Mulan is lying about being a man, so technically she's not being true to herself, so therefore she shouldn't be able to use chi now. But she can. I mean, are the Rorans being true to themselves? Is Bird Lady? Oh, speaking of the plot, let me quickly talk about the one thing that has absolutely no point in the story. No, not the sister, although that's a good guess. I'm talking about the Phoenix. Why did they change Mushu into a dumb, speechless phoenix who does nothing but show up, and literally no one but Mulan can see it? Dragons in China represent both power and good luck, so it's still relevant to Mulan's story. And I get that they wanted to be more authentic by not having a talking dragon, but you're still using a mythical creature. So why not use a fucking dragon, you idiot? Plus, seeing a big-ass dragon flying around would have been fucking lit. And I don't like using that word, so why did I say that? I mean, it wouldn't fix the problem of it being useless, but at least you could say it was a nod to the original. There's literally no excuse for the Phoenix other than that you want it to be different. Or, subversive. So Mulan makes it to boot camp and we're introduced to her fellow soldiers, Yao, Ling, and Qian Po.
I'm Cricket.
Oh, and Cricket. Yeah, they changed the Cricket into a person too.
That is why my mother says I'm a good luck
It's too many characters, man. So many characters. The bird's a person, the cricket's a person, the people are persons. Okay, that doesn't make sense, but come on.
Need a hand, little man?
Insults me again and you'll taste the tip of my
Lower your sword.
Mulan then tries to fight not Li Shang, and Donnie Yen comes in to break up the fight. I would say Donnie Yen is too good to be in this movie, but he's been in some pretty trash films, so... And honestly, I can't really blame him, because the paycheck was probably ridiculous.
Yes, Commander.
Mulan goes through basic training while also being in stealth, and instead of a great montage with a great song to go with it, we get a generic montage with just as generic music to go with it. Why didn't they just use an instrumental version of I'll Make a Man Out of You like they did with the other ones? Also, remember that task that no one could do? They had to climb the pole while being tied to weights to reach the arrow at the top? And only Mulan can do it, showing her prowess and ingenuity while also gaining the respect of her fellow comrades? Yeah, you know how the remake handles that? Mulan uses her chi and then everybody loves her. No, seriously, that's it. It's way less visually interesting. Mulan doesn't deserve the respect of her comrades as she did nothing to earn it, and the energy that the original had with the montage is just completely lost. You took one of the most memorable moments of the movie and just completely butchered it. At least you had the decency to not even try at an attempt at a reflection scene. Oh wait, never mind, they did. So this guy gets kicked out for cheating, and it never really comes up again. You could have just cut this out and it would have made no difference to the movie. In fact, it would have been better because it would have made the movie shorter. Next couple of scenes are just Mulan training with her comrades, and it's just basically a rehash of the scenes from the original, but you guessed it, done way worse. I'm glad to see that the Imperial Army is respecting social distancing, though.
We were matched 28 days ago. Her name is Lily. Her skin is white as milk. Her fingers like the tender white roots of a green onion.
Ling is a romantic.
Her eyes are like morning dewdrops.
I like my women buxom. With strong, wide hips.
I like kissing women with cherry red lips.
I don't care what she looks like.
I agree.
I care what she cooks like.
Why do they talk like that? Are you trying to imitate Chinese dialogue? Stop that. Don't do that. It feels so unnatural. It's like they're talking like they're being dubbed, but they're not. I don't know why, but I feel so offended. Oh, right. It's because it's written by 4 people and not one of them were Asian. Donnie Yen calls Mulan into his office and they have a heart-to-heart. I think. It's kind of hard to tell with this movie. The next morning, the soldiers, I guess, set out to fight. I'm not really sure because they don't really say what they're doing. And they come across a burnt-down village and some dead soldiers. Remember? Like it's like the original, remember? Right after that memorable song where the soldiers are happily singing what they're fighting for and then immediately interrupted by the reality and devastation of war? Yeah, and the remake is just a random scene they cut to. You could just also cut this out of the movie, honestly. Again, the original was way more effective without even seeing a single body. Combined with the juxtaposition of the bleakness of this scene and then the carefree musical number of the scene directly before, it just creates this gut-punching feeling of devastation. You feel the weight of the war, what the real-life consequences of war really are. In the remake, you see a bunch of dead bodies on top of each other, but I feel nothing. The music is super bland and soft, so I can barely hear it, and everybody's reaction is just like they stepped in some dog poop. It's like a minor inconvenience for them. We got to nighttime, and then to daytime, and Mulan and the 5th Battalion are told they must ride to battle as soon as the sun rises. Why am I talking like that? Mulan and pals are nervous, so Mulan gives the most hypest, motivational speech I have ever heard.
Listen to me, all of you. We will live.
That's seriously the transition you went with? That's so fucking lazy. Nothing makes me more angry than a shitty, sad excuse for a fucking scene transition. You could at least cut to a close shot of Bori Khan, but let's be honest, you probably didn't shoot that coverage because you're incompetent as a director. Not because you're a woman. There are lots of great directors out there that are women, but it's because you fucking suck. Yeah, I've seen Zookeeper's Wife. It's fucking boring. But the costumes and set were really well done. Soldiers get in line to get ready to fight, and I honestly can't tell if Mulan is supposed to be scared here. She's had the same face the entire movie. The Romans attack, and the Imperial Army fires back. Boring retreats for some reason, and Mulan chases after him with a group of red shirts. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip over this real quick. They fire arrows back and forth while riding on horses, and then everyone on Mulan's side either dies or runs away. Okay. Mulan chases after them by herself and ends up in a sulfur pit with Saoirse Ronan. I honestly can't even call this a fight scene because it really is just Bird Lady tossing Mulan around.
You're a witch. Am I? And who are you?
I'm Hua Jun, soldier in the Emperor's Imperial Army.
Your deceit weakens you. It poisons your chi.
Lying poisons your chi. But you change yourself into another person and lie all the time. That's so contradicting! Mulan gets knocked down, and we cut to her pals who are just having a grand old time.
You know you can't be lazy. Never use a messy recipe. The
Seriously, Cricket should be dead. Like, dead ass, he would be first to go. Mulan wakes up and... Wait, I'm confused. Bertolini just said that pretending to be a man is killing her, but then it ended up saving her? Like, if she wasn't wearing that armor to hide her titties, she would have been dead. You literally just contradicted yourself in the same fucking scene. Mulan tricks the Rorans into shooting their trebuchet at what they think is a group of 5 men, and they totally miss. They hit a mountain, and I'm assuming we're supposed to believe that Mulan uses her chi to create the avalanche. Like, I'm sure she's like feeling the ground to feel that vibration to confirm it's happening, but there was no setup for us to believe that. You never established that Mulan was cunning and smart. That's why that pole scene in the original is so important, and I should probably call it something else. It established her as a quick thinker, so when she does stuff like cause an avalanche with explosives, it doesn't come out of left field. Here, it doesn't come out of left field, but based on what you've established in the movie so far, the audience can only assume it's due to the only thing that you've established. Fucking chi! The avalanche falls, wiping out the Rorans, and Mulan confesses to Donnie Yen.
You are an imposter. You've betrayed the regiment. You've brought disgrace to the Hua family.
Commander.
Your deceit is my shame.
Commander, what is the punishment assigned to this imposter?
Expulsion.
What? Expulsion? I thought you were trying to be more authentic. He should be threatening to kill her. I mean, that's what they did back then. Even the original knew that.
A life for a life. My debt is repaid.
I would rather be executed.
And Mulan saying she'd rather be executed just comes off as comical. It makes her character seem weak. Like, what is she, a millennial? Mulan, now expelled from school, climbs a mountain for some reason and has a good cry. Bertolini tries to convince Mulan to join the dark side, but Mulan declines because it's her duty and honor.
We are the same.
We're not.
We are. The more I showed, the more I was crushed. Just like you. You saved them today, and still they turned on you. You're just at the beginning of your power. Merge your path with mine. We will be stronger together.
You follow a leader who runs from battle.
Ori Khan did not run from battle. That coward will take the Imperial City, and your emperor will fall.
Mulan rides back to the Imperial Army and tries to convince them about the attack. Donnie Yen refuses to listen, and not Li Sheng has to step in.
You would believe Hua Jun. Why do you not believe Hua Mulan? She risked everything by revealing her true identity. She's braver than any man here. And she's the best warrior amongst us.
I believe Hua Mulan.
I believe Hua Mulan. I believe Hua Mulan. I believe.
How can a woman convince the general to change his mind? She needs a man to speak on her behalf, okay? It's very empowering for women everywhere. The Rorans sneak into the Imperial City and Boring challenges Jet Li to a duel.
He offers a duel.
Prepare my guards. We ride to the site immediately.
Mulan enters the city, realizes there are no guards, and then is immediately ambushed.
Protect the Emperor.
Wait, hold on. Couple of things. One, why did they decide to put all the guards in a square if they were just gonna fight them anyways? It's not like they ambushed them with bows and arrows and started shooting at them. No, they just jumped down and started fighting them. Why not take them out one by one while they're patrolling the city? 2, so Cricket can use chi now? What? I mean, that's cool that not only Mulan can use it, but it comes out of nowhere. And there was no setup for it whatsoever. 3, when Jet Li gets ambushed and fights back using fucking curtains, he asked, "How did you get the Chancellor to betray me?" How does he know that? There is no reason for Jet Li to assume the Chancellor betrayed him when he was the one who told Jet Li it was too dangerous. And Bori Khan even says, surely you didn't expect a fair fight. So how does that conclude to, oh, I'm being ambushed? The Chancellor must have betrayed me? What a dick! Fucking it, whatever. We cut to Mulan and not Li Shang facing a bunch of Mormons in the hallway. Rorans. Facing a bunch of Rorans in the hallways, not Mormons. This fight's not that bad, actually. It's probably one of the better ones in the movie. The action's clear and interesting, and it has agency and purpose. And to be clear, by not bad, I mean like a 4 out of 5 out of 10. Our main girl makes it to the throne room only to find the bird lady. Mulan rushes after her, and we get yet another choppy chase scene.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Lady Bird arrives at Bori Khan and proceeds to tell him about Mulan.
Why are you here?
The attack has met fierce resistance.
From who?
A young woman from a small village.
A girl.
A woman. A warrior. A woman leads their army, and she's no scorned dog.
You led her here.
It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Yeah, this is neither shocking nor emotional. And I feel like Mulan could have just deflected that arrow just fine. You know, like how Bori Khan did it earlier, or how Mulan kicked a fucking spear in midair earlier. Mulan then finally confronts Bori Khan in the most boring set piece ever. Nothing about this is exciting at all. You have these gorgeous exterior shots of mountains and hills and fields. Why not use that? Why a claustrophobic, bland-looking construction site? And stop with the upgrade-like camera movements, please. You use it way too many times, and it just doesn't work in this context. And an upgrade, it makes sense, because the movie's about human beings being able to do incredible things with the help of technology. And the camera work and the cinematography echo that. You don't get those shots with just a cameraman. You need a special rig and to stabilize it using computers and algorithms. What is the purpose of these shots being in Mulan? There is none. It's just derivative. Are we supposed to assume the cameraman used chi to get that shot? Fuck you, and fuck chi. In the middle of the fight, Mulan's sword comically falls down and right into the molten fire pit, or whatever it's called. It's funny, I thought it was there to light the whole set on fire, you know, to make the last fight look somewhat visually interesting, but no, just there to destroy the sword. And rather quickly, I might add.
You are a mighty warrior.
Jet Li gives Mulan a pep talk, rolls a natural 20, and gives her a buff. She then proceeds to fight Bori Khan. Again. Okay, I can't help but compare this part of the fight with the tabletop fight scene from Ip Man 2. You know, you got the main character versus an opponent on a very unstable and small area. In Ip Man, you're on the edge of your seat. You feel the intensity and the wobbliness of the table. The action is incredibly fast-paced and the music intense. It creates an atmosphere of urgency. If Ip Man falls, he won't be able to open up his school. And you understand the stakes. In Mulan, the action is slow and boring and barely even notice the music. They don't take advantage of the harrowing situation like in Ip Man because you're not afraid of Mulan. Because if she falls, she'll just use chi. And yeah, the Ip Man scene does have lots of cuts, but it's showcasing a very fast-paced action scene in a very tight space. In order for the audience to easily digest what's happening on screen, they have to use quick cuts to kind of play with time and zoom in on the key moments. Again, in Mulan, they just use quick cuts to hide the fact that they have no choreography, not to enhance the action, which should be the sole purpose. Our main bitch tries to free Jet Li, but Boricon shoots an arrow from the ground. Jet Li catches the arrow, calling back to the beginning when Boricon did just that, and then Mulan fucking kicks the arrow into Boricon, who tries to catch it, like in the beginning. Again. Seriously. You referenced the scene in the beginning of the movie twice in the same scene. If that sentence seems redundant, it's because it is. The city celebrates while the movie plays for reflection for some reason, and we get a cameo from Agent May. Aw, isn't that nice? In case you didn't know, Ming-Na Wen, the actress, actually played Chun-Li from Street Fighter. So that's why she's in this movie. And that's pretty much the movie. She has a scene with Not Li Shang, she goes home and confronts her family, and then Donnie Yen shows up with a new sword. Oh, and then we get some pointless narration to close us out.
Grown up to the sky, and her ancestors celebrate her in the vault of the heavens.
You know, just because you end with narration doesn't justify it being in your movie. It's still pretty unnecessary. But then again, that pretty much sums up the whole movie, right? It's just unnecessary. Before I close out the video, I just want to mention a couple of films. Call them my recommendations. First one is a movie I've already mentioned before, actually, and that's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Not only did it revitalize the martial arts genre, as well as solidify Ang Lee's career in the Western world, it legitimized martial arts movies. No more were they cheesy B-movie quality, they were Oscar-winning movies. Not that they weren't some Oscar-quality movies before, but now they were considered art. Well, I mean, in Hollywood at least. The second movie is Hero, starring Jet Li. This is how you do a mystical martial arts movie. You even got Jet Li fighting a younger Donnie Yen in one of the coolest fights ever. If you want over-the-top yet earnest action movies, Hero will not disappoint you. Now, the next movie I want to talk about might sound like a joke, but I promise you is not. The third movie I'm going to recommend is Kung Fu Panda 3. I'm not kidding. There's a couple reasons why. First, the Kung Fu Panda series are legitimately well-made movies with really well-put-together action sequences that put Mulan to shame, honestly. Next, the third movie does something similar to Mulan, which is that it introduces Chi. Except in Kung Fu Panda 3, it actually has a point to the story. Also, Po can't just use it willy-nilly. He has to earn it at the end, after he learns how to be true to himself. Sound familiar? Mulan mentions that exact phrase, but does nothing to actually follow through with that thought. If Mulan actually struggled to use Chi while she was in stealth, that would have been interesting, but the remake uses Chi as a crutch, as a way to differ Mulan from the rest, when it should be the opposite. Lastly, I want to talk about, not a movie, but a TV show. It's a really well-written show with interesting characters and plot lines, and some of the best choreography I've ever seen. The show I'm talking about is Iron Fist. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, he can do a high kick, he can do a roundhouse, he can punch your teeth out. Might be just one guy, maybe